Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this YouTube channel, which is called Teachers Danek, I believe, and this show, which is called Learn English with Football. It doesn't happen as often as it used to. I used to do this show weekly, but these days it's roughly once a month. But I would like to keep it going, and I would like to keep inviting fantastic guests such as Ben. Hi, Ben. Welcome back.
Hi, Nick. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Anytime, anytime. I can see you are radiant.
Yeah, it's a good weekend, but I'm sure we'll talk about that. We'll get
Absolutely.
onto that. Yeah.
I think that's what this show will be about, pretty much, because it depends on my guest always. And if there is only one guest that supports one team, then what else would we talk about? We're going to talk about your team, which is, as we can see, West Ham United. I also have a shirt,
Nice,
West Ham
very
shirt.
nice.
One of my
Retro,
two teams. One of my two teams I support. And that's what we're going to talk about. But before we get to that, I think you deserve a little banner here. Ben's YouTube channel, To The Point English with Ben, if anyone is interested in learning about exams, Cambridge exams, such as CAE, CPE. Am I saying it right, Ben?
Yeah, nowadays the new names for those exams are the CAE is now the C1 Advanced, the CPE is the C2 Proficiency, and the lower level, the B2 First. Well, it was the FCE, now it's called the B2 First, but that's right. Yeah, my YouTube channel, I do general English learning videos like grammar and vocabulary, but I specialize in Cambridge exam preparation.
Right.
That's true.
And I've seen a video on your channel about ChatGPT as well. I think you were talking about.
Yeah. I think everyone was talking about. Well, everyone still is talking about ChatGPT. So I thought I'd make a video on that very early. I think I need to make another one because I did it so quickly that I didn't really understand Well, now the more I've used it now, the more I understand the possibilities and the potential of it. So I'll make another one probably.
Lovely. I'll be honest with you. It's growing on me as well. I'm kind of warming up to it.
Yeah.
I think I have to use it a little bit as well in my lessons, and I have to give it a bit more credit than I have been, and it's kind of inevitable or unavoidable, or what's the word here?
Yeah, inevitable. I think you can't. It's something. It's here now, and it's going to be getting. It reminds me of the beginning of the first months or years of the internet, like 25 years ago or whatever.
I can't even remember that.
Well, I just remember the first time I sort of went. I got a job in an office which I hated, and I was only there for 2 weeks. But they had no work for me because they were changing Well, it's boring, but they just said, just sit here for 8 hours and play on the internet. And it was like there was no Google search engine, so I didn't know what to do. It's like there were so many possibilities. I didn't know where to start. And it's kind of similar with ChatGPT now. There are so many. You sit there thinking, I could ask this thing anything I want, and nothing comes to mind. It's too many options, I think.
Literally, I need to buy a book now, like a course book, to start learning Vietnamese. And I didn't know, I found one which seemed interesting, but I couldn't find a Vietnamese online store where they would sell it. So I asked ChatGPT, and it found some bookshops, like online bookshops, basically, for me. So it knows everything.
Yeah, it's scary. It's going to be. It is. There are things I don't like about it, and I think, as you said, it's you can't. You either. You can't not use it. You can't ignore it. Basically, it's here and it will be everywhere, and it's going to be extremely powerful.
Yeah, I think people who do ignore it, they are a little bit in denial, I think.
Yeah, Luddites, the Luddites that deliberately. Whether you like it or not, it's here. So I think you need to get on board. You have to embrace it and go with the flow. And
exactly.
Hope it doesn't take over the world and destroy us.
All right. Sounds like a conspiracy theory from a West Ham fan. And that's what we are here for, to talk about West Ham. But as always, this is an interactive show, and there will be some people watching us live, such as Max. Nice to see you, Max. Max is one of the Achievers Chamber members. And I would just like to remind the people watching this live, whoever is learning English here, I know it's not Ben, but whoever is watching this
Always.
and learning English and knows me and knows the stuff I do and perhaps has heard about the Achievers Chamber and likes football. I'm thinking of starting an event, a weekly event about football in the Achievers Chamber, but so far we haven't got enough football fans in the group. We are waiting for more members that are into football, and once that happens, once we have more football members in, then we will do it. Okay, so just a quick, what you might call it,
Plug or no?
yeah, I don't know, distraction or something like that.
But
But
side note.
side note, that's it. Side note,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, side note. Right. One more thing before we get into football. My internet might be a bit dodgy today. And if that's the case, could you please let us know in the chat? And I've got another option. I can switch between my hotspot and the Wi-Fi, which is a bit unreliable in my apartment, but I can experiment with it a bit. So let us know if the connection is okay or not. Okay. And without further ado, let's get into the interesting stuff then, shall we, Ben?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready when you are. Yep.
Yep. Let's do it. Let's do this. Okay, Ben. Let's start with you then. What matches did you watch?
At the weekend, only one, I think. It was just the big one, the biggest match of the weekend, of West Ham against Manchester United. There were some other bigger ones actually. I can't. Arsenal had a big one. Didn't they? Arsenal played against
Newcastle might be a little bit bigger. I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, but it's depending on the results, I think. But yeah, of course, Newcastle had third, so it's third against second at that time, wasn't it? So
yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
still,
big match.
Still, I think they're in the still in the same positions. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I need to watch the highlights because I did. I saw the goals. I think I saw the goals.
Yeah.
It was 3-0, wasn't it?
No, I think it was 2-0. I think, unless I missed the last goal. I think I stopped watching like in 95th minute because I had to go. So there might have been one more goal, but I know Odegaard and Martinelli scored a goal each, and whatever happened after that, I'm not sure. But I'm sure Arsenal won. So I think it was 2-0 in the end.
It was a huge result for Arsenal because that was a huge test. I think after everyone suggesting they might be bottling it or getting end of season.
I think you're being too nice here. I think they have already bottled it because just look at City. Well, can you stop City in this form?
Well, City are a force of nature. I think it's very difficult, but the fact that I think a lot of people expected Arsenal to lose against Newcastle just because of the momentum. It's like they've passed their peak and now City are going to run away with it and Arsenal are just going to collapse. I think that match was so important for Arsenal, for the confidence of the players, and I think now they probably believe that they have a chance of. It's very unlikely, but I think they've got a chance of still winning the league. So
City need to start dropping points though, and they are not.
Yeah.
So they just keep winning, even if it's by one goal. They keep winning.
Yeah.
So I don't like, as an Arsenal fan, I have to say right now it doesn't look very likely. Like, never say never, but I think no, not anymore.
They can only win all their matches and hope that City slip up. I don't know the fixtures. I don't know if City have got any difficult matches.
I don't think so. No matches are difficult for City in the first place. But then again, like, no, they might be playing someone from the relegation zone, possibly. That might be potentially a tough game because it's a dogfight, as we say. But I don't know. I just think it's unlikely, Ben.
Yeah, no, it is unlikely, definitely. But winning against Newcastle just gives them not only the points but the belief. I think the belief that it can be done. Well, they can win the rest of their games anyway. And
no, they can. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think the pressure is kind of off now because I think nobody expects them to win anymore. Just look at the bookies. Look at the odds. Like, it's just heavily in City City's favor, in City's
Yeah,
favor, right?
it's just
So
ridiculous. At City, I
yeah.
think. I mean, City do have to play Real Madrid twice, and that's
Mm.
going to take it out of them. I think that's going to be. I
Uh,
think that, you never know. I mean, they've got to rotate. They've got to rest players.
yeah, but
Could be some injuries. Who
kind of
knows?
like what players they always bring on, like someone like Mares, or like
I
these
know,
are basically
ridiculous.
not in the starting 11, or
Yeah, I had a
these are
friend.
well, they are world class. So like
Yeah, a
nothing
friend
to
of
do.
mine on a WhatsApp chat said it's just not fair that Haaland and Alvarez can play in the same team. That they should be the stars of in different teams. To have that level of player, and yeah, the team
Mm,
is just full of them.
yeah,
Every position has got two or three world class players. So
exactly.
it's ridiculous,
And
really.
they don't seem to be getting injured either much. I think it's just because
No.
of the way they play. It's just possession based football,
Mm,
and I think people sit back against them, and they're just waiting for what's going to happen, like what City are going to do. And I don't think they tackle that much because they know they would just like get red cards, and it just doesn't. I don't think they get injured that much, and they are
yeah.
so skillful that they just avoid injuries basically as well.
Yeah, well, I think it, as you said, it's partly because of the style of play. It's not, they're not chasing the ball all the time. They have the
Yeah,
ball, so if you're
yeah,
chasing the ball, you have to change direction, and
yeah,
it just takes more out of you. But also
exactly.
because they've got such a big quality squad,
Yeah.
Guardiola is very intelligent. He knows when each player needs a rest, and
Hmm.
is it's. I mean, they will get injuries, but it's not as
Yeah.
many as other teams, I think.
I agree. So
Mm.
you saw the biggest game according to you, the West Ham Manchester United game. Obviously, I have to say I watched the same game as well. It was actually a great day yesterday for me because as I
Mhm.
support both Arsenal and West Ham, each team won, and especially I have to say the reason I'm wearing this shirt is because the significance of the victory for your team, for West Ham
Mm.
United, was
Mm.
huge. And that's,
Yeah.
I think that's probably like why you also came today to talk about.
Well, no, because I would come every Monday if I could, but I'm usually busy, so it was honestly a coincidence that because there
Okay.
have been other weekends when West Ham have won and I haven't been able to come. We do occasionally win
Yeah,
other
I'm
times,
kidding. I'm,
but
I'm
it's
yeah,
it was a big game. I mean, yeah, of course, on paper, Newcastle Arsenal was a bigger match, but as you said, West Ham, if we'd lost, we would be in the relegation dogfight. And if Manchester United had won, they would be pretty much not guaranteed, but they'd be favourites for the Champions League. Now they're going to be looking over their shoulders at Liverpool and Brighton. I think even are up there.
yeah. There's a chance
Um,
they have a chance. Yeah. They still have a few games in hand as well.
yeah, I
But
don't know if
I
Tottenham.
saw they were trailing before we started the show. I saw they were
Oh, really?
trailing against Everton. Actually, Everton were in the lead.
Oh,
Let's
that's not
see.
good.
Oh my God! Halftime, Brighton nil, Everton 3.
Wow, wow. Yeah, very surprising and quite disappointing. Or from West Ham, I see everything from West Ham's point of view
No,
because
you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine
yeah, I think we're
because
going to be fine. Yeah.
the other team that is in the relegation, Leicester City, lost today against Fulham
Yeah,
five
I saw
five
that. Yeah.
three, five
Yeah.
three. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think fortunately for West Ham, there are 3 or 4 teams that are worse than us, and we're looking all right now. But yeah, that's a pity for Brighton because it looks like they may just fall off at the last for the last few matches because it would have been
yeah,
good to see them at least in
yeah.
Europa League. Sorry.
No, I think they will be in the Europa League. I think so. I think it's very likely. I mean,
Yeah,
look at Tottenham. Tottenham are just gonna like get the Conference League
yeah, that
at
would be
best.
funny. Yeah,
And you
but
know
if
how?
West
Yeah.
if West Ham win because West Ham are in the Conference League now, if we're in the
Ah, yes,
semi-finals.
yes,
If we
yes.
win the Conference League, we'll be in the Europa League. So Tottenham would be in the Conference League, and
Oh, maybe one spot would be lost for England as well. It's possible, right? If I'm not sure how it is.
all right.
Maybe Conference League would be awarded to the sixth place instead
I
because
don't
of
know how
that.
that works. I don't know
I
if you
don't
get
know.
an
I don't
extra
know.
if the country. No, I think they'd probably give the the league of the team that wins an extra spot. I would imagine, but I don't
You
know.
think so?
I don't know. It's a bit of a joke competition for many teams, but for West Ham,
Mhm.
we haven't won anything. I'm sorry, I keep taking the conversation back to West Ham, but we haven't won anything for 40 years, over 40 years. It's basically,
Yep.
yeah, 42 years, I think. So
Yeah.
anything, we'll take anything really at the moment.
Oh, you're close. You're in the semifinals, so
Mm.
we can talk about it a little bit as well. So these are the matches we have seen. So I saw Arsenal against Newcastle and West Ham against Manchester United. You saw the Manchester United West Ham game. Sorry,
Mhm.
West Ham United Manchester United game. Oh,
Yeah.
I did
Yeah,
say it just in the wrong order. Yeah,
yeah, it was at West Ham were at home. That's the only
you
thing.
were
Yeah.
at home. Yeah, you were the
Yeah.
home team. All right, now let's quickly go through this one. So, your biggest surprise? Would you like me to go first, or do you
You
have
can go
any?
first.
Okay,
I
for
don't know
me,
if, yeah.
it's gonna be. It might sound surprising, but it's not really. All things considered, it's the Bournemouth Chelsea game
Mhm.
because Chelsea, Frank Lampard managed to secure his second win in his last 20 matches as the manager, second only win, and beat Bournemouth, who are in a good form.
Yeah.
So Chelsea with that victory, and I know I'm being a bit facetious here, a little bit. What's the word? I'm trying to be a little bit funny here, but I'm enjoying myself as an
Mm.
Arsenal and West Ham fan, seeing Chelsea where they are. And
Mhm.
I have to say, with this win, they secured staying up for next season. They're not gonna get relegated because if
They can
they had
relax.
lost, it would still be mathematically possible for them to get relegated, but not now. Not now. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest surprise for me.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I mean, you'd think Bournemouth 1, Chelsea 3 would be a normal score in a normal season, but you're right. I
Yeah.
mean, Frankie Lampard needed that match. You know, he's not the most popular person
No.
for West Ham fans. He was look at me turning it back to West Ham again. Sorry, but he is from
Hey,
West Ham.
go ahead. Go ahead.
But I don't hate him like some other West Ham fans do. I think he's all right, but he's not doing very well as a manager. But there are
Yeah.
certain managers that just keep getting chances, to keep getting jobs in top teams, and it happened years ago with people like Steve Bruce and um, who else was there? There was sort of very average managers who kept getting. I remember Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes never really did anything at any of his
Mm.
teams, but he just kept getting jobs. Um, so I don't know. I don't know how much longer Lampard will last. I think he's just an interim manager until the end of the
Yeah.
season. But it's a good
Maybe when
result.
they
Yeah.
were hiring him, they thought, okay, let's give him a chance, and if he does well, maybe we will make him the actual manager. But
Yeah.
now, I think it's pretty obvious that they can't keep Frank Lampard. He's just not
Yeah.
getting the results they need, right? It's not. He
Yeah.
hasn't he hasn't really like proven himself at Chelsea, in my opinion. Just
No,
hasn't
and
done it. So
it's a pity because he's a legend as a player. It's
of
kind of
course, of course.
tarnishing his reputation a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He'll always be a legend as a player, but just
Do you know what? Maybe
humiliating
he should
himself.
do. Maybe he's a smart guy. He's got two
Mm,
university degrees, as far as I
mm.
know. He
Yeah.
could just follow Gary Neville. Gary Neville
Right.
started as a manager as well, and then became one of the most popular pundits. And I think he's really good at what he's doing. So
Yeah.
whether we agree with some of the things he says about Arsenal or not, that's another story. But I
Yeah.
think he's good. I like listening to Gary Neville when he talks, when he does his match analyses
Yeah.
as a pundit, and he has got his own podcast as well. So
Mhm.
what if Frank did something similar?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he could. I don't know where, either on Sky News or BT or BBC. I don't know, but at the moment, Carragher and Neville, I think, have got
Yeah.
Sky tied up. But I don't know. I think when a player, I guess they get all their coaching badges and everything, and they get. I guess he's just in that mode at the moment. Just wants to be a manager, but he may
Yeah.
have to go for Plan B. He probably doesn't need to do anything. He's probably got enough money, and
Yeah, I
he
don't
just
think it's about money. It's not about
no,
money.
I don't know
He
why.
just misses football and misses the leadership role and all that.
Yeah, and probably the camaraderie, being in a
Hmm.
with the players. With it, yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know. I think he's just not built for it. As you said, he is an intelligent guy, and usually people that play football players who play that position make good managers. That sort of they understand the game more than like strikers or goalkeepers or
Hmm.
defenders to a certain extent. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna. He'll be there till the end of the season, and then we'll see who they get in. That will be interesting. Pochettino has been linked with Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm, I don't.
I don't want Spurs to get him, obviously, because I think they would be much better with Pochettino.
Mm,
But I think he's a Spurs manager. He should go back, really.
yeah,
You should try again. Maybe it would even keep Harry Kane in the team.
yeah, Phew, yeah. I think Harry Kane needs to leave. That's another conversation. But I
Yeah.
want, if we're talking about Spurs, I think the owner Daniel Levy, I think he's difficult to work with. I
Yeah.
think he's not many. I don't. I think when you leave Tottenham, I don't think it's very. I think if managers are usually quite relieved to get away from Daniel Levy.
Even
Although I don't
Mourinho,
know
I
the
think
details.
Mourinho was also happy to go. Conte,
Yeah,
Conte sacked himself pretty much
yeah,
in a press
yeah. That was
conference.
incredible. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've never seen anything like that. So
I've
it,
neither have I. It was the most bizarre thing ever.
yeah, there's something wrong with Tottenham. Although they've been, the last 10 years they've been relatively
Mm.
successful without winning anything, but there's just something not
I,
quite right. That I
I
think it's
hear
Levy.
I hear a bit of a I hear a bit of pity in your voice, but to be honest, I'm quite happy about this.
No, I'm quite happy about it too. And you know, Arsenal and West Ham's main rival is
Absolutely, we
Spurs.
share
So
we share the same main rival, right?
yeah, exactly. So I'm not sad about it. I'm finding it quite funny. But and
Yeah,
yeah, I just think Harry Kane can't be there for another season. It's a bit like Declan Rice, but Harry Kane, he's coming to the end of his career. I guess he's probably got about 3 or 4 more seasons at the top. So he's got to win something. He's got to
yeah,
get in the Champions League and.
exactly,
Uh,
exactly. There are talks of him getting a statue at Spurs, at Tottenham, and there are people who are against it. And
oh
their
yeah.
main argument is, how can you build a statue for someone who hasn't won anything? Like, you cannot build a statue just because that player has got golden boot. Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, it's just not good enough.
yeah,
He has to be remembered for winning a trophy, and he can't do
yeah,
that at Spurs. Anyway, sorry, Ben, but
yeah.
I think Spurs don't deserve any more time in our show. Let's move on.
Okay. Yeah.
So your biggest surprise then?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, probably if it's not West Ham against Man United, can we say today that
Yeah, yeah.
Everton beating,
Um,
well, winning against Brighton 3-0 at half time? I mean, it's not over,
yeah,
but
it's a little bit
that's a
cheating,
surprise.
but I'll let you
Yeah.
off. I'll let you off.
Okay. So there weren't any really big. I'm just looking at the results,
Uh,
and I
yeah,
guess most people looking at those results would say West Ham beating Man United would be a big surprise.
I
I
think so.
honestly
Yeah, I think so.
suspected it. I had a feeling about that one because I think David Moyes, the West Ham manager, ex-Man United manager, I don't think he'd beaten Man United since he left. So I think that was the first match he's
Yeah,
won.
I think you're right.
With
I think
so
you're right. I think I heard that the previous 10 encounters he didn't win or something like that.
yeah. So
Sorry, the previous 10 times he played against Manchester United, he lost, something like
yeah,
that.
mostly
Anyway,
with West Ham, but yeah. So
yeah, yeah.
I just had a feeling that it would be yesterday, but I probably always have that feeling, and usually it's
No, I
it's wrong.
I I heard it from more people actually, not
Yeah,
even just West Ham fans. It's for some reason it seemed like a realistic prospect.
yeah.
I
Well,
don't know. It's hard to explain considering the kind of season you've been having. Yeah, but
yeah.
it
But we
seemed
have
it seemed
started
possible.
turning the corner. We've we started playing like in the last few matches, we've looked like the West Ham of sort of 18 months ago when we were flying.
Yeah,
So I think that's got a lot to do with it. All the players are starting to click.
I can see that as
Uh,
well. Yeah,
yeah, and Man
yeah.
United maybe starting to have a bit of a dip in form, so it just coincided nicely for us.
Crumbling. They're crumbling because they also lost against Brighton. I mean, how can
Yeah,
you lose against a team that is trailing 3-0 at halftime against Everton?
it's a strange league. All
It
kinds of
is, yeah.
strange things happen.
Anyone can beat anyone, right? I love it.
Yeah, yeah, it makes it more interesting, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys that are watching us live, tell us in the comments what was your biggest surprise. Let us know, and we shall move on to the West Ham game because that's the main thing for tonight. That's the main dish. Let's
Mm.
talk about it. So I've got a lot of questions for you, Ben.
Oh, really?
The first
Great.
question being, wait for it. How does it feel to be able to breathe again?
Yeah, it feels nice. I mean, I'm 46 years old. I've been supporting West Ham all my life, and we've been relegated, I think, 4 times at least. I don't know, maybe more, but and we've been close to relegation many times. So I'm used to it. I'm used to suffering. But in the last 2 or 3 years, we've been looking like a different team. It's like this is the
Mhm.
new West Ham. We thought this,
Yeah.
we're going to be qualifying or at least close to Europe every season. Now we're in the we're top 8 team, top 7 or top 8 team. That's what we were thinking. So this season has been a huge disappointment because we
Yeah.
spent a lot of money as well, more money than ever last summer. So we didn't expect to be in a regular relegation battle this season. So it is
So
nice with 4
basically,
games to
if
go.
I'm
Yeah.
to sum it up,
Yeah.
so basically, this suffering has been exacerbated by the fact that the expectations had got so much bigger, right?
Yeah. For years, usually when West Ham are in the top, if it's the Premier League or Division One or whatever the top league is at the time, we kind of start the season thinking the first objective is to not get relegated.
Yes.
If things go really well, maybe we can dream of Europe, but we're kind of
Hmm.
prepared for another relegation battle. But in recent seasons, we've our expectations have been higher,
Yeah.
so we're kind of a bit, yeah, more than disappointed. It's you know as you suggested, it's exacerbated because we're not. It's not like we're Man United or Liverpool or anything, but suddenly we thought we'd be doing better. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big relief to. I really didn't want it to go to the last day of the season where we had to win the match to survive. I hate those. I hate those seasons. They're just too stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, it was close. It almost happened.
yeah, I mean, if we'd lost, because we lost, I think who we did. I think we lost to Bournemouth
No, no,
before
no.
we played Man
You beat
United.
them 4-0. You beat them 4-0.
Who did we lose to before we played? We lost to
You lost.
someone I thought we should have won.
Yeah,
We should have beaten. We lost to
you're right. You're right. Did
Man
you lose?
City, of course.
Did you lose to Everton or someone like
We lost
that?
to Crystal Palace
Crystal
4-3.
Palace, but there was one more team, wasn't there?
We beat
I, d-
Bournemouth, as you
I
said.
can't remember. No,
I
it was
think we,
before you started having a better form. Like you lost to one team from the relegation zone. I think can't
yeah.
remember whether it was Leeds or Everton or one of or Forest or might have been Forest, right?
I don't
No.
remember that.
No, you
It's
beat
possible.
Forest. I think. No, you beat
I'm
Forest
looking,
1-0. I
scanning
think.
through the result.
Ah,
I mean, we
never
do.
mind.
That's typical West Ham losing to a rubbish. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say rubbish team, but yeah, we lost 4-0 to Brighton. I know that's not a
Yeah,
relegation team, but yeah, I can't find it. But yeah, the losing to Crystal Palace when we thought we could have,
yeah,
because that was when our form was starting to
yeah.
get better, and that was worrying because we knew we had to play Man City and Man United after Crystal Palace, so we thought
I
0
remember that.
points and then we'd be in trouble. So
It was
a huge relief, yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of fixture congestion at the time, and
Mhm.
Moyes decided not to rotate the squad. And I remember
Yeah.
all the West Ham fans were absolutely furious with the manager because he was just so stubborn as he
Oh,
always is
that
that
is the word for him, yeah,
he just
stubborn.
didn't he just he just kept playing the same players even though they even though they had been absolutely exhausted, and it was
Yeah.
everybody could see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be very creative or imaginative. It's just like, those are my 11 best players, so they're gonna play until they collapse." It's like poor
Yes.
Antonio. I mean, Antonio's been brilliant because we've got these new strikers, Scamacca, who's injured. He's a fantastic
Mm.
Italian, but we haven't seen the best of him
Yeah.
at all. And then
No.
Danny Ings has come in, but he hasn't really
No.
done much.
He,
So it's all down to Antonio again, and Antonio seems to thrive on
he's stepping
being
up.
alone. Yeah, and he just works his socks off. He's just runs and it's so important because he can hold up the ball and bring in Bowen and Benrahma.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but especially as we've got Europe as well. But somehow we seem to be doing better at the end of the season. So I think it's a lot to do with the mentality. I think individual players like Paqueta, the Brazilian, who started to really show his true
Yeah.
talent.
I think
I mean,
he hasn't been better than he is now. He hasn't been
yeah,
better. It's his best
uh,
time at West
yeah.
Ham.
Every match he's getting better. I
It's,
think it's.
yeah, it's
I'm really
amazing.
looking forward to next season for him. I guess he'll stay at least one more season before someone will
Yeah,
come in and
I think so
take
too.
him. Just
Especially if you get to the Europa League, I think
yeah,
that
yeah,
sounds great.
yeah. Just I would love to see him with Rice for another season, but that's very unlikely. I think
That's
Declan.
that, that's going to be one of my questions, yeah, as well
Okay.
soon. But first, let's talk about this game a little bit. So, was it a deserved win in your opinion against United? You won 1-0.
I think so. Yes, of course. I would say that, of course, but I think uh, on the balance of play and the chances we had, the goal was lucky. It was a very weak shot. Ben
Was a
Rama.
fluke. You could say it
Oh
was a
yeah,
fluke.
I mean it was on target. I think
Yeah.
Man United had like 7 chances or something before that, but none of them are on target. So you've got to hit the target to score, and that showed it. It was a very weak shot, but
Yeah.
which Ben Rama. I just wish Ben Rama would connect with a good shot one day, but that was enough. No idea what happened to De Gea. It was very strange. I don't know what he was doing. He didn't
It,
seem
it,
to slip.
you know what it reminded me of? Like, I don't know if you've played any FIFA games or any managers like
A little
champion.
bit.
What
Yeah.
is it called? Like championship managers? I can't remember. But um,
Yeah.
if you had like weak goalkeeper with low numbers,
Right.
or if you put like a striker into your goal as a
Right.
joke, then
Yeah.
they would make this kind of mistake. They would still
Right.
jump because the algorithm or whatever that is built in the game would still
Yeah.
make that goalkeeper try to make that save,
Hmm. Yeah.
but it would do a really poor job of it, and that's what
Right.
it looked like. So it looked he jumped, he
Right.
leaped towards the post, but the leap was like like I don't know, like I feel like you and I would do better there,
Well, we have an expression in English like a sack of potatoes. He,
like a
he
sack
fell
of
over or he
potatoes.
dived like a sack of potatoes. It wasn't like, graceful. It just kind of flopped down. It was a very
Yeah,
weak hand.
yeah,
I don't know. It was. I don't know if he could explain it, but
yeah. Well,
better for West Ham. But the reason I mentioned that because yeah, some people would say we were lucky with the goal, but I think we were the better team on over the 90 minutes or 98 minutes in the end. And I think, I mean, I don't know if this is a question you got later, but I'd like your opinion on this because I haven't spoken to anyone
yeah.
about it.
Go
But
on.
I think we had a clear-cut penalty. I think it was. I don't know if you saw in the second half. I
It
think
is
it
one
was the
of the
second half.
questions. Yes.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, I'll wait for it later. But yeah, just mentioning that because I think if we got the penalty, then it would have been 2-0 probably, maybe not. But I think we
Yeah.
just we looked really good yesterday, and I think
Oh.
every player. It was difficult to choose a man of the match, so it was excellent. Yeah.
Okay,
What
so
do you think? Do you,
was it a penalty or was it not? So let
okay,
me
that's the
answer it
next question.
in this way. So I can see why it wasn't a penalty, but that doesn't mean that I think it wasn't a penalty. Does it make sense?
Yeah, but yeah, because the
I
rules,
can
I
see
guess.
why they disallowed. Like, so first of all, he didn't blow the whistle. The ref didn't blow the whistle. Yeah, so
Mm,
that's the first problem, because that means that then VAR is only checking whether this was a clear and obvious error.
mm,
And I think had he blown the whistle, it would have been given, and VAR wouldn't have overturned it. It's one of those, in my opinion, because
yeah, yeah.
it's just so close. Yeah. So
This
I
is,
can see why it wasn't given, because it seemed a bit accidental, and I mean it's really you can interpret it in just two different ways, basically.
but well, maybe I don't understand the rules because, well, first
Yeah,
of all, I think a big problem now is that referees aren't blowing the whistle because they know VAR's going to look at it, so they're not going to risk it.
that's true.
And
Yep.
but the other thing, whether it's accidental, I mean, he moved his hand or his arm almost towards the ball. I think he was trying to get his arm out of the way, so it was
Yeah.
accidental. But it doesn't matter if it was accidental or not. His arm blocked the ball, and it was in an
I don't
unnatural
know.
position.
I don't know. It's also about proximity. It's about proximity, about like how like sort of like speed of the ball, like how fast does it go? Like can he really do something? I don't know, man. Like it's so
I
hard.
think
But I think
I think
like
your
what
point
makes it, yeah,
sorry. I think your point was is a very good point that if the referee had given the penalty, they wouldn't have overturned it. They would have
mm, yeah,
supported the referee. So it depends so much on whether the referee blows the whistle. And I think against some teams, the bigger teams, it's easier to
yeah.
blow the whistle to give
See,
the
see,
penalty.
it seems like it's one of the things that West Ham fans keep saying now. I think even David Moyes is a bit unhappy about some of the recent decisions, and
Yeah,
I think that several ones have been going against West Ham now. So
yeah,
I think there's a bit of context, and when it happens often, then you start coming up with all sorts of explanations for that, as almost conspiracy theories. And I've heard people
yeah,
say that, oh, this is because the VAR, what they were actually checking is not they were not checking the actual handball incident. Instead, they were just checking the badge. They looked at the badge of
right. Yeah.
the badge
Oh,
was
it's
West
Man
Ham,
United.
and
So,
yeah, well,
well,
you
yeah,
Man United, yeah. And so
it depends whether I don't think they're punished. I just think that smaller teams against bigger teams, that I don't even think it's planned. I don't think there's any corruption involved. I just think it's
yeah,
the pressure they feel subconsciously, maybe even. I mean, I think Brighton have had I think it's Brighton, two decisions, right, clear VAR decisions go against them. And it's
yeah,
very difficult to justify those decisions. But if that had happened to Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Chelsea, they wouldn't, or Arsenal, Arsenal, yeah, Arsenal too. I think especially Man United, I think that those just, I think very few people, even Man United fans, would argue that those decisions would have gone against them
yeah.
for whatever reason. And I don't think it's corruption. I just think it's the pressure that the referees
Mm.
feel.
Yeah,
It's,
it's possible.
yeah,
It's possible that
yeah,
that plays its part in it. I don't know. Like
yeah.
this incident for me, it was 50-50. I can understand why West Ham fans are indignated by it, and um, but I don't know, man.
Mm.
I'm not 100% convinced.
Yeah. Well, okay. It's in. I did want to get because the only other person I've chatted to was my mate, the other West Ham fan, and he was obviously just agreeing with me because he's West Ham. So it's interesting to get. You're not
Mhm.
neutral,
Yeah,
but more or less.
I'm not like 100% West Ham either. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, but apart from that, even forgetting about the penalty, I think we were the better team. But I'm biased. But I think even, I mean, reading a lot of comments by Man United fans on Twitter and other on the BBC, they they're they're saying yes, De Gea made a terrible mistake, but what about the other 10 players? What did they do? They didn't score. They created some
Yeah.
chances, but
I
No.
think
It,
I think most of the chances or the best sort of spell for United was at the very beginning of the game. I thought like there were a lot of sort of very near shots. Like it was close.
mm,
Like
yeah. Yeah.
Casemiro had one. Yeah, it was something like it seemed really close.
Yeah.
Fernandes. So Rashford, I think, hit the post. I think there were two
Yeah.
posts. And
Yeah.
then,
I
but
think
then
so. Yeah.
I thought actually you played even better in the second half, in my opinion.
Mm,
I thought like it was such a professional performance from you. The defense,
yeah.
like solidity, defensive solidity, and it seemed
Yeah.
like every single player like played really well, which
Yeah.
wasn't always the case.
No, we've been waiting for that all season for the players to click because Declan Rice is just magnificent every match, pretty much. But the others are kind of hot and cold, and Bowen might have a good match, but Benrahma has a nightmare, and then Paqueta has a great match. Soucek has a nightmare, and
Hmm.
just you just want them all to play well at the same time, and they did.
Yeah,
And the defense, I'm really quite happy with the defense now, and Moyes knows how to organise them. So you have to start from the back, and yeah, just a good all round performance. I am biased. I don't know. I can't watch a West Ham match and kind of answer these questions. I'm giving my honest answers, but I understand. Maybe other people would say that it wasn't. That maybe Man United were the better team, or it was more even.
no,
But for me, no.
you were the better team. You deserve to win this.
Okay, good.
Even the commentators seem to be sort of uh, celebrating your win, which was weird. I think
Right.
it's
I
sometimes like
didn't.
the underdog. The underdog sometimes gets more sort of favor, or what's the word for
Yeah,
it? Uh,
yeah. The more popular or the
yeah,
more
yeah,
sympathy, perhaps. But
sympathy.
I,
Yeah.
I was I was watching it. I get Spanish commentary because I watch it on Dazon,
Okay.
Dazon, Dazon, I think in English. So it's quite interesting to watch the Premier League with Spanish commentary or any not English commentary because
Mm,
they kind of see things from a different perspective. They're not
I
so
see.
involved in the
Yeah.
culture and the different teams, the history of the teams.
Hmm.
So, but yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
a very good match from West Ham's point of view. Very happy.
Yeah, I was happy for you too. I mean, it was a great performance, and yeah, even Tomáš Souček played well, as you said.
Hmm.
He hasn't had exactly his best season ever, so it's good. It's good to see him uh, back to his old self. I mean, he scored one goal against Crystal Palace. Now he was like fighting for every ball, and he once again was stitched up. He had stitch. He
Oh
had
yeah,
more stitches. How
yeah.
many times has it happened during this West
He
Ham career?
puts his head where other people don't, and that was a very important header I think he made there. So yeah, he likes he likes getting knocked about, I think. But yeah, I think I do like Soucek. He hasn't been doing very well, but somebody I watched the YouTube sort of West Ham fans on with a YouTube channel,
Mm,
and they were pointing out that yeah, maybe he hasn't had his best season, but his positional play is second to none. He's always in the right place, so he doesn't get all the glamorous like goals and assists or anything, but he breaks up attacks just by being in the right place, even if he never
mhm.
touches the ball. And it's
Yeah,
something I don't notice, perhaps, or I don't pay
yeah.
much attention to, but it's very important. So, and the fact that he plays every match, he's one of the first names on the team sheet.
It
Moyes,
has been
obviously,
explained by the fans. Um, sorry, how shall I say this? This has been put down to Moises' stubbornness sometimes, though.
yes, that's true. Yeah,
People have been saying, "Oh, he has been playing Socek not because he's a player that deserves to be in the starting 11, but because Moise is just stubborn and he has got his favorites." I've heard this so
yeah,
many times this season. So
yeah.
where
I've
do you
been
stand
very.
on that? Where do you stand
It's
on
a
that?
good question. If you'd asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said, yeah, Moyes has lost the plot. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's too stubborn. But now I wasn't completely in the 100% in the Moyes out camp. I wasn't,
Ah, really?
but there were a couple of matches where I said he has to go.
Uh-huh.
but I kind of regretted it quite quickly because I don't like. I've always been quite proud that West Ham aren't that kind of club that just sacks players when they lose when we lose 5 matches. We tend to be more loyal and stick with our managers. So Moyes has been brilliant for us. He's had a bad year. I would say a whole year we've been pretty since the end
Yeah.
of last season and most of this season. But he does know what he's doing, and there are things that I don't understand about football because I'm not sorry. I'm not and we don't see them training every day. We don't know things that they know. So yes, I think Moyes can be stubborn, but in this case, I think with Souček, I think the thing is we've got this young player called Flynn Downs. I don't know if
Yes.
you've seen him, and
Yeah,
he
yeah, of
looks
course,
really
of
good.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's coming through now, and so I think a lot of West Ham fans want to see Flynn Downs
Yeah.
given more opportunities. And maybe when you see Souček not doing as well as he used to, you think, well, stick Flynn
Mm.
Downs in. But again,
Yeah.
Moyes has experience in this, and he'll give him more time. I don't know if Flynn Downs is good enough to replace Declan Rice, but he's a good option on the bench at the moment.
Yeah, no, he's a great player. I like him as well.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
him as well. I at some point when Souček was playing really badly, I just as someone who's from the Czech Republic, obviously my compatriot Tomáš Souček, I don't want to hear it every single week like that Souček is just terrible and people have been
Mm,
maligning him and it's just like trash talking him and I was like, okay, put him on bench. I don't want to hear this anymore. I was like,
right. Yeah.
okay, let Downs play for a few weeks. And he
Mm.
kept playing Souček anyway. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well, it's
let's hope.
this
Yeah. Yeah.
something we don't see. Something, as I said, maybe it's this positional play that
Mm,
maybe keeping faith in a player. There's something to be said for that because
yeah.
they need the confidence. If you just put a player on the bench when they have a couple of bad matches, that destroys their confidence, and then it's very
Mm,
difficult to get it
mm.
back. So maybe it's man management too. I don't
Also,
know.
what I will say is that maybe because Moyes is like this traditional coach, and I
Hmm.
think he also sort of values mm, personality and behavior, and he values people that it's hard to I shouldn't say it like that, but like oh, I respect the older players, and it's like this traditional view. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Souček he's such a nice guy. He's never gonna grumble. Like I know him even from the national team. He's
Hmm.
never going to grumble, and he will do everything they tell him to
Yeah.
do. He's just this nice guy. It's just. Can you imagine? So if you are the boss and you have somebody like this working for you, you love
Yeah.
to work with this kind of guy, even
Yeah.
if he's not like at his best, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I Because you can always rely on him. You know that no matter what you do, he will always be there for you.
Yeah.
He will do what you want. Yeah. So it's a little bit
Yeah.
like that as well, I think.
Moyes loves those players, those types of
Yeah.
players, like Pablo Fornals, the Spanish
Yeah.
player. He's similar. He just works hard. He'll give 100%. He'll never
Yeah.
complain.
Yes.
Um, he'll do what has to be done. Fornals has had a bad season too, but he
Yes.
cares. I mean, he scored a goal against I can't
Oh,
remember who, but
the scorpion kick.
yeah, it was kind of again.
It,
Well, yeah, I can't remember who that was. Bournemouth, maybe that was against
yeah, it was the
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth game,
Yeah,
the last goal against Bournemouth. Yeah,
yeah.
4-0.
And he just started crying because I think it was just the
I know.
emotion of because he'd been had a bad season. I think he was just so happy.
Yes.
We call him the Spanish Cockney because he loves living in London. He just loves West Ham and he just gives 100%. And Moyes loves that. And I think Souček and Kufal, I know that's not how it's
So
pronounced,
far.
is it? Sofal, okay.
So far. Yeah.
Sofal. They both give 100% the Czech players and that's what, yeah,
Yes.
Moyes loves that, and rightly, I love that. That's what West Ham fans love. So when you see like Ben Rama is, for example, he's very skillful, but sometimes you think he's not really tracking back and fighting, and
Hmm.
that can be frustrating. So I think Ben Rama's not Moyes' type of player, but he's been quite good recently, so he
Yeah. Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
gets the nod.
And
But
he scored
yes,
this goal now, this important goal. Like that's
yeah.
that's big. Big
Yeah,
thing, right? To do.
yeah, and hopefully he'll next season he could step up another level because he's been a couple of seasons. He came from Brentford when,
Yeah.
from when Brentford were in the second division
Championship.
or
Hmm.
championship. Yeah, so I think it's taken a long time, but still adapting to the Premier League. But I think him, Paqueta, maybe Flynn Downs, hopefully Bowen will stay, and we'll probably sign a few new players at the end of the season.
Mm.
And maybe Ings will get more. I really want Scamacca, the Italian, to start getting more games and scoring goals because I think
Yeah.
he could be
No,
a legend for
he's
West Ham.
he's a talented player, so he
Yeah,
could easily make it. So
yeah.
would you bet on Moyes staying? Do you think you're going to keep him or not?
I I would imagine. Yeah, I mean it's very difficult to sack, and it would be unfair to sack a manager that's got to at least the semi-finals of a European competition, and we could finish in the end sort of 15th in the league, which is
Do you
it's
think?
not what we
Sorry to
wanted.
interrupt you, but do you think
No?
it will make a difference if you win it? Do you think
Yeah,
it will be even harder to sack Moyes?
yeah. I think we're favourites to win the conference, Europa Conference,
Mm.
and I think we should win it. It's difficult to say, but so yeah, I think qualifying for the Europa League, apart from winning that competition, we would qualify for the Europa League, and
Yeah,
in the end, we weren't really in the relegation dogfight at the end of the season. So you could argue that it wasn't such a bad season in the end, but um, I don't know. I've heard rumors that they're looking for another manager, but I don't know. I think he should stay now. I think
yeah,
he's turned it around, but if he
I think so too. Yeah,
yeah, I think we look at the first 10 matches of of next season, and if it's more like
yeah.
this season again, then we could look into getting another
So
manager.
it's
But he
it's sort
deserves
of
another
like,
chance.
let's give him another chance. Yeah. So do you
Yeah.
think that so your owner Sullivan, David Sullivan,
Mm.
does he deserve credit for sticking with Moyes while a lot of almost every single team sacked their manager basically, even
Yeah.
including someone like Brendan Rodgers, like who has done
Yeah.
incredibly well at
Mm.
Leicester City. So do you think that your owner deserves credit for this? Because
I do.
every single fan was almost every single fan was calling
Yeah.
for his head,
And
right?
and I was one of those for a couple of matches, I have to admit, but never
Yeah.
really. I didn't like myself for doing that but it's difficult not to when we're playing so badly.
Yes.
But
Mm.
But yeah, I do think we have to give credit to Sullivan, and I don't think Sullivan and Gold passed away. David
Yeah.
Gold passed away a few months ago, but they deserve a lot of credit. A lot of West Ham fans want them out because we moved from Upton Park to this new stadium, which no one likes, and we haven't moved on to the next level that we expected. But they're local lads. They were born in the East End of London. They're lifelong West Ham fans. They're they're investing money and they're loyal. They give the managers time. I mean, what do we want? We want some Russian or Saudi Arabian or multi-billionaire to come in, basically sell all our players, buy new players. That wouldn't be West Ham anymore. So
You would
yeah,
be
maybe
Chelsea or
we'd win
Manchester
something. Yeah,
City or someone like that.
exactly. We'd win something. But I like the fact we've got local owners and they give they know the West Ham way. I mean, that
Yes.
we do give our managers time. We let
Hmm.
them.
Like
I
Arsenal,
think
similar. You're similar to
yeah,
Arsenal.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think
Hmm.
it's I think yeah we're not going to win the league, so
You sure?
Europe,
You
not
could.
this year.
Leicester have done it.
Yeah, it could happen, but I think that was a once a century achievement by Leicester. I think it's so difficult. I can't see it happening.
Look,
But if we can get into Europe, uh,
yeah, that should be enough. Yeah, Leicester might get relegated this season as well. Incredibly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Everton, that would be amazing. Everton and
Yeah.
Southampton. I mean, we talk about
Uh,
West Ham. Sorry, just quickly, West Ham's season being a disaster, but those three teams, Southampton, Everton, and Leicester, would have been thinking about Europe at the beginning of the season. They'd be thinking we could get into the Champions League or Europa League.
Mm, mm,
They could all go down. They could all get relegated. So
yeah. Well,
put into
let me ask you.
perspective, it's not that bad. Yeah,
Yeah, let me ask you about that. Like now, Everton are 3-0 up at the
yeah,
is it called IMEX Stadium, I think, in Brighton.
yeah. I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, the IMEX, and so it. I mean, and they played well against Leicester. I remember I was watching the Leicester Everton game. They played really well, Everton. I
right,
don't see them getting relegated anymore after this
right.
result. If they manage to see it out.
Hmm.
It for me, my personal tip is of course Southampton. I think it's almost
Yeah, they're down. Yeah,
foregone conclusion.
yeah.
Then I think it's gonna be Leeds because of the fixtures they are about to have. I think they're too tough, just too tough.
Mm,
The team is all
mm,
right now. They have some Allardyce, so you never know. But the fixtures
yeah,
are too tough. And then the
yeah,
last one, I think it's going to be between Leicester and Nottingham Forest. Personally, so what do you think?
yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at the table now. It's the bottom three at this moment, as as the matches stand. It's Leeds, Notts Forest, and Southampton. I think. I mean, Leicester have the same points as Leeds and Notts
Yeah.
Forest, but I think it would probably be those three.
Hmm.
I can't see Everton going down. Everton are too big to go down. I think they've been in the top league for 70 years or 80 years, I think.
Really? Wow.
I think they're one
Okay.
of the teams, one of the few teams that who've been, yeah, one of the teams that have been in the top division the longest. I think Arsenal,
I
another
didn't
one.
know. I didn't know
I'm
that.
not sure,
Wow. Okay.
but yeah, it's yeah, I think that's it. Unfortunately, because I like Leeds and I like Notts Forest too.
Mm.
Historically, they're one of the big. They're two huge teams historically. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of younger football fans probably don't. They see Leeds and Notts Forest and think they're just little teams, but
Mm.
Notts Forest were the best team in Europe for
Yes.
a few years, and
Yes.
Leeds in the 70s were a huge team in England.
Yes. Mm.
So
Yeah, it's
it's
one of the big teams. At least one of them, may possibly even two, are going to go down. Yeah, it's gonna
yeah,
be really sad. Yeah, but
yeah,
that's the nature of the Premier League. It's a dogfight, as we said.
yeah.
Um, okay, so why don't we go through our heroes and villains of the week quickly?
Hmm.
Do you still have time, Ben?
Yeah, I have time. I'm just thinking who could.
Uh, let,
Well,
let me give
should
you
I?
more time. Let me give you more
Okay.
thinking time. You should, if you want, I can go first.
I've got because I
Okay,
only saw one match.
go
I
ahead.
can only really think. Um, the thing is, there are so many heroes for West Ham, but I mean, I think Ben Rama was voted man of the match on
Mm,
in the stadium. I think uh, someone else got man of the match in on BT Sports, but uh, so Paquetá was amazing. Every player was amazing, but I'm going to go for Declan Rice again
mm,
because he's just. I don't. Sometimes I think he doesn't get enough credit. I know he's getting a lot of praise, but because he does it every week, he's just incredible.
yeah.
I think he's the best West Ham player since Bobby Moore, and that's saying something. And I think he's going to be an absolute legend for whatever team he goes to next, and for England. I think he'll be the next England captain.
Mm,
And he had a fantastic match. He's, as I was saying to you before we connected, I will support Declan Rice wherever he goes in the future. I'm going to be a Declan Rice fan. I won't support the team he plays for, but I will support Declan Rice. Where
No,
if
I
it's
get it.
Arsenal, Man
I get
City,
it. I get it.
yeah, yeah. So he's my hero. Who's yours?
No, he's great.
Yeah.
If I'm honest with you, I was going to go for Declan Rice as well,
Already?
but
Okay.
but to make it more varied, I will pick David Moyes then because
Hmm.
I think the way he turned it round, the amount of pressure he must have faced, it's unimaginable. And to be in this position you are in right now, I think it's incredible. After the, the amount of abuse he was getting from the fans, I think he probably doesn't follow the social media or doesn't read the news. Or,
No.
but
Yeah.
I don't think you need to do that to
No.
hear.
he'll
hear the
knew. He can
booze,
hear it in the
hear
stadium.
the
Yeah,
booze
yeah.
in the stadium. I think he
Mm,
knew. I think he knew.
yeah,
And
I'm sure he knows. Yeah.
how many times uh, did did the pundit say that it was lose do or die game for David Moyes?
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
How many times? It was like 4 times, 3 or 4 times.
yeah, yeah.
Did he have to manage a game like that, and he won every single time?
Hmm.
It was the Forest game, it was the Everton game, then there was one more. I
Hmm.
can't remember which one. But then this one, it was more like a
Probably
free hit
Bournemouth.
kind of
I think.
thing.
Yeah,
Bournemouth, yeah. This one was
yeah,
more like a free hit a little bit, right?
yeah.
Manchester United, a great team, like, but still, like the manner in which he managed to galvanize the team, and look, they are all playing for him as well.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like,
somehow.
it's amazing. He's a great manager.
Yeah,
I think he deserves a lot of credit for this specific match. Maybe for not for
yeah.
the whole season, but like this match. Wow,
Well, as you
just
said, I think. I mean, he's a very experienced manager and he's very stubborn. But I think he cares. He cares about the team and he cares about what the fans think. But I
yeah,
think he just focuses on what he's got to do. And he's kind
yeah.
of. I don't think the 2 years when we were doing really well, flying high. I don't think he was. It didn't go to his head.
No,
And when he was getting criticised, I don't think it let him let it. He didn't let it affect him too much. So he's just kind of doing his job. It's a good shout. Yeah, I think he does deserve credit.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
to
yeah, but I was also going to pick Rice. I thought he
yeah,
was the best player on the pitch.
yeah. I think he's
Yes.
it's just so consistent. Yeah.
Hmm. And let's do the villain of the week now. Okay, I'm gonna keep it very simple. For me, it's
Mhm,
David De Gea. Like
mhm,
you can't do this as a
mhm.
Premier League player, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, no. It's he seems to have got a lot of second chances because I live in Spain and he was the Spain goalkeeper for about 4 seasons, I think, or 4 years.
Hmm.
And now he's not even in the squad. I don't think there are
Oh,
three.
really?
I don't think he gets called up. I think there are three goalkeepers
Ooh.
ahead of him, um,
But doesn't
including the
still does
Brentford goalkeeper. Yeah.
really? But doesn't he still have the most clean sheets of all goalkeepers in the Premier League this season?
I
Isn't
don't know.
I heard I don't know
Could
if this
be.
is
Yeah.
true, but I heard that he's got the most clean sheets. That's what
Yeah.
even Ten Hag said in the press
Hmm.
conference, something like that. He alluded to it. So
Well,
yeah.
yeah, but it could be true. And I like David De Gea, but I think he's past his peak for some reason.
Mm,
Although he's still relatively young, I think. But he, I mean, it depends. Those statistics, the most clean sheets, that's more to do with the defense, I think, isn't it? Or the
yeah.
tactics.
Mm.
No, I
Yeah,
don't
it
know
would
how
have
many
to be
saves he's made.
it would have to be analyzed, I think, deeper.
Yeah, yeah. There's more to it than that, but
Mm.
I think he's probably. I can't imagine him staying at Man United. Well, I don't know what if he'll stay at
Mm.
Man United as the second choice goalkeeper. I don't know. It's
Well,
it's
it
only one
depends. Yeah.
one mistake, but I think he's he's made a few
Mm.
others, hasn't he, over the
I think it depends on
seasons?
Erich Ten Hag as well, doesn't it?
Mm,
Because like he seemed to be really standing by him in that press conference, and
mm,
if Eric Ten Hag is happy with his goalkeeper, I mean, it's ultimately his decision, because I think he has earned his position now. Eric Ten Hag, I think, is
mhm,
I think he's got the trust of the fans as well,
mhm,
and I think De Gea is. I would say it would be my guess. I would say that he's staying, but who knows?
mm. Yeah, I don't know. They say a vote of confidence from the manager is like the worst thing that can happen, isn't it? It's like
Kiss
saying
of
it's the
death. What's it called? Kiss of death.
kiss of death. Yeah, yeah, it's gone. But no, I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know enough about Man United this season. I haven't seen enough of their matches to
Yes.
know how well De Gea has been doing. But yeah, that was
Mm.
a nightmare for him on yesterday. So.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So do you agree with my villain of the week, or do you
Yeah,
have
of
someone
course.
different?
I mean,
Well, you're gonna pick
villain.
VAR as a
I was
classic
I was going to pick
classic
VAR.
West
Yeah,
Ham fan.
yeah. Well, I don't mind VAR. I'm not anti-VAR. I just think they've got to sort it out. It's the handball
Hey,
that's the problem.
hey
It can't
Ben,
be. Yeah.
I've got a better idea. Why not replace VAR with ChatGPT?
Yeah. I think that it probably would do a better job. I think uh, in the future there will be artificial intelligence taking some of these decisions. We're using technology more and more, so
Yep.
it's not a bad idea. ChatGPT could get it right. I think. I yeah, maybe it's predictable because I don't like. Maybe it's I'm analyzing the word too much, but villain for me, it's like somebody who does something like it was a mistake by De Gea, and he was devastated and gutted. But
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
yeah.
I know the
I think
idea.
you can
Yeah,
approach it from any angle you want. It's just a
yeah. It's
fun,
just
funny segment we have here.
yeah,
You can say whoever you want, even VAR. You can say the pitch if you want.
yeah. I'm going to say VAR because I didn't see enough of other matches. It's the only match I saw. All the West Ham players were fantastic.
Yeah,
I could have said I was thinking of Fernandez because I think he's. I don't know when they're
but
playing well, he's amazing. But when they're playing badly, he's such a
he's a
whinger.
what? He's a winter whiner.
Yeah.
Nobody likes him. I think nobody likes him.
No,
Like
the
only the
Portuguese
maybe
fans, I was
the
like,
yeah maybe the Portuguese fans, maybe United fans, but uh,
yeah. No, he's an amazing
yeah,
player, but things have to be going his way. If not,
uh,
he's a bit of a crybaby.
yeah. I don't like him either, to be honest.
Mm.
Okay, so let's do this one now, and let's do it very quickly because at least from my point of view, there's not much to talk about.
Yeah,
If you catch my drift, I'm not
yeah.
doing really well when it comes to the FPL these days. I don't know how about you.
I was
Let's
doing all right this season.
okay.
I'm third in the Teachers Denic League.
Ooh, let's check
So
that. You see, I
uh,
haven't been really paying attention to it since I've been doing so
yeah,
poorly.
that's usually the way, isn't it? If you don't do well, you kind of lose interest, and then
Yes.
then you do even worse, and then
I don't know what
y-
it says about me, Ben.
no, I'm the same. If I
Yeah.
after 10 matches, if I'm not near the top, you kind of just don't pay
Yes.
much attention.
Yeah, I don't
But
think
yeah,
I can. To be honest, like you have a nice cushion. You have 100 points over me. Wow, that's yeah. I don't think I can catch up.
well, you have to
Skamaka Ataka. What a name as well. What a name.
Skamakataka. Yeah, he hasn't played many matches for us,
Yeah.
so he's not. But I have to change the. I was going to change the name to Ings Can Only Get Better. I've seen that one before,
Wow. That's
but
a great pun.
I like that Jack Francis Ani Are You Ake? Ani Are
Yeah.
You Ake? Michael Jackson reference. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, not bad season. I was looking at the other results. It's not that bad actually because I thought I had
Mm,
a pretty bad week, especially as I two
yeah.
got two
Well,
Brighton players in my team
still
as well.
above average. Still above average, as I can see.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
no,
yeah.
this year, this game week, I think was just below average.
I actually
But
think
yeah,
I'm going to get more points because I'm gonna get more points because I will get Gabriel. Gabriel is going to
oh yeah,
be put in instead of Diaz. Why does Dunk have -1? Did he get? Oh my god!
conceded four, a
It
yellow
looks
card.
like Everton won 4-1 against Brighton as well. Is it
Yeah,
over?
I think Mitoma must have scored because
He, oh, did he?
I've got points there.
Doesn't look like it. Mitoma has dropped off a bit in form.
Mm,
I feel.
maybe he got
McAllister
an
scored.
assist.
McAllister again. Wow, he
Oh,
is
right.
on fire. Yeah.
Must have been an assist from.
But this is a bad defeat for Brighton, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
It's a bad defeat.
as I said, it's a pity because they were looking good, but it's just the
Yeah,
wrong time of the season to start. I think
absolutely.
we forget that teams have dips at different parts of the season. Some have dips at the beginning, and it looks like a disaster, but in the end, it's like Arsenal last season. I
Yeah.
think that it was a terrible start, but in the end, they did
Hmm.
really well.
Yeah.
And you could have a dip at
Captaining
the end. Oh yeah,
exactly. Captaining Haaland didn't exactly go according to plan.
but it doesn't. everybody captains Haaland, so that's
Yeah.
just cancelled out. It just depends when you use your triple captain. That's the only difference, which I used last week.
And the player that I have in the last spot, so that
Shall
my
we talk?
last substitute, Madison, got the most points of all players.
That's Murphy's law. Or
Exactly. He scored a goal and got an assist.
mm,
Okay, well, no, it's not really looking good for me at all.
yeah.
But it is what it is.
Have
It
you
is what
played?
it
Have
is.
you played all your chips? Have you played your bench boost and triple
I
captain?
haven't. I still haven't played. What's it called? The
Free
one
hit?
where you can cheat. Yeah, free hit. Free hit. I
Yeah,
haven't played free hit yet.
right. That could
Yeah,
be
I
good.
just.
Should
Yeah,
be useful. I've played all of
yeah.
mine.
I think I just missed the boat. I think I missed my opportunity to play it
Mm,
effectively. So I'm not. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway,
yeah.
well done, Ben. This season it looks like you're gonna finish third.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe
yeah,
we'll see.
we'll see.
There's a,
We'll see.
I could still throw it away. Throw it like third place, a
You
gold,
could
bronze medal.
you could still bottle it like Arsenal did.
Yeah, I might try captaining different players because I'm in a couple of other leagues where I'm sort of third or second, and what's the point? I might just start captaining like differentials, like take
Yes,
a few risks because everyone's going to captain Haaland from now on in. So maybe I'll try it
yes.
just to make
You
a
could
difference.
you could captain someone like Vladimir Tsofal, who is injured.
Yeah.
That
No,
would
I
be
think
the biggest differential.
yeah. I think someone like I don't know, like Ben Rama or someone like that. He could, if we're going to go for a West Ham player, might get a couple of goals or assists.
Yes, yes. Especially if he keeps scoring goals like he did against De Gea.
Yeah, hope he hits them a bit better, a bit cleaner next time because I don't think that's going to
Yes.
happen.
Well, probably not.
No,
But I have to say, Ben, it's been great talking to you about West Ham and everything else, football related, Premier League related. Of course, you are an expert. And yeah, all the best with your YouTube channel, To the Point
thank you.
English with Ben.
That's it.
All the
Thank you.
best. And
Likewise.
yeah, thank you, man. And yeah, I hope it's not the last time we talk to each other. And possibly we could even talk to each other about West Ham United winning the Conference League. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be nice to celebrate. Yeah, I'll probably have a
Yep.
hangover that day. I think the finals on Wednesday, so I'll have a few days to
Okay.
recover if it's
I
Monday.
could I could try to sneakily call you when you're drunk. That would be interesting.
That'll be a fun one. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. All right then. Thank you very much, Ben, and good luck with everything you do in Spain, and good luck to West Ham again. And take
Thank
care.
you.
And
Same
yep,
to you. Cheers, Zdenek. It was good fun. Take care.
yep. Likewise. Cheers,
Bye.
man. Bye. Okay, guys, and before we wrap this up, obviously, this is the last bit of the whole show, and that's where I explain the vocabulary from the episode. I've been making notes during my discussion with Ben, and let me start off with this sentence, and it was my internet might be a bit dodgy, so I sort of complained about my internet at the beginning. It was more like a warning that things could go wrong. I don't think they did. It wasn't the best, but I think I managed it in the end. But if you say something is or might be a bit dodgy, it means in this case that it might not be trusted. You can't trust it. Yeah, it's a bit suspicious. It's a bit it might not work as well as you would like it to work. You can't trust it. Yeah, if something is dodgy, you can't trust it. Okay, so that's the first phrase I wanted to explain. Moving on, um, we were talking about Frank Lampard, the current Chelsea manager, and I think I made a point that Frank Lampard kind of had to keep, kind of needs to stay in football because he misses it. I said he misses football, and then Ben added that he probably misses the camaraderie. Camaraderie. I think camaraderie means the togetherness, like of friends, like sort of friendship, right? Let me check this word. I don't really use it much, but I think it's an interesting word. Camaraderie is, what does it mean? Feeling of friendliness, yeah, like when you're part of a group, among your friends, so that sort of bond you share by your friends, a common experience. So that's what you get when you are part of a football team, right? So whether you're a player or a manager. So that's why Frank Lampard decided to stay in football as a football manager. Very good word, camaraderie. Okay. And then Ben said we started to turn the corner. So basically, West Ham United were playing really poorly. They kept getting terrible results. But then they started turning the corner. So if you start turning the corner, it sort of means that you turn it over. Like you are no longer in a bad form, and suddenly you start playing well again, right? You turn the corner. It's like imagine you're on a graph and it goes down and you're playing poorly, and then you start turning the corner again. Yeah, that's what it means. Very interesting idiom indeed. Then here is another one. Sorry, I just have to copy paste it quickly. As you have suggested, it's exaggerated. Sorry about the typo there. It's exaggerated because suddenly we thought we would be doing better. What were we talking about there? I can't remember anymore. I can't remember anymore, guys. But I guess the word I wanted to explain here is exaggerated. I'm surprised I even wrote it down. Exaggerated. Oh, was it exacerbated? Maybe I said exacerbated. Exacerbated. Yeah, I think I wanted to write exacerbated, not exaggerated. Sorry, my bad. And exacerbated means to make things worse. Uh, I really, really can't remember what this was about, but just remember exacerbate means to make things worse. It's quite a formal word as well, but I quite like it. First time I learned it was, or first time I heard it was in the film Shaun of the Dead. So if you want, if you want to hear this word in context, exacerbate. Do you know what? I should actually write it down. So exacerbate. If you want to hear this verb in context, you should watch Shaun of the Dead, which is a great film about zombies. It's a comedy. It's a British comedy about zombies, and it's a great, great film. So let me just write it down. This is the verb exacerbate, means to make things worse, as far as I know. Okay, so moving on. Um, I don't know who he was talking about. Probably I don't know who we were talking about. Probably Socek or Declan Rice or Antonio. I think maybe Ben was talking about Antonio. He said that Antonio works his socks off. If you work your socks off, it means you just work really, really hard. You just do everything, all like and more. You do all your job and more. You work your socks off. You're just super hard working. Okay, that's a very cool idiom. Um, okay, this was a funny one. I think we were describing that incident, that sort of howler that David De Gea committed, and Ben said he dived like a sack of potatoes. So sack of potatoes. Obviously, you keep potatoes in a sack, and this is what we would call a simile. So you are sort of comparing the way he dived, the way he sort of leaped towards his post. We would compare it to a sack of potatoes for some reason. It was just this means he dived in a clumsy way, in a clumsy way. Okay, like imagine a sack of potatoes dropping on the floor. It's just not very nice. I guess it's very clumsy. Okay, I can understand. I said I can understand why West Ham United fans are indignated. That I think there's a typo there. Let me check again. Indignated. It should mean like angry or something like that, right? Annoyed or angered or just sort of upset. Okay, indignated. Is that a word? I'm trying to check, guys. Indignation. Hmm. I think it should be correct, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be used as a noun most of the time. I swear to God, I've heard it before. Indignated. Hmm. Maybe it's indignant. Okay, guys, I may have made a mistake here. It's probably indignant, which means angry because of something that is wrong or not fair. Yeah, I apologize. So I'm gonna write it again in what was it again? Indignant. Indignant. Wait, I misspelled it. Wow, I think I should go to bed. Do you know what time it is, by the way, guys? It is 1:30. Yes. I wanted to keep the original times, but that also means I have to stay up so late here in Vietnam because Vietnam is 5 hours ahead of Central Europe. Indignant is the word. Okay, indignant. Okay. Okay. His positional play. I think we were talking about Souček. I think Tomáš Souček. And Ben said his positional play is second to none, which means the best. If something is second to none, it's the best. Okay. That's simple. Okay. This is a nice idiom. Let me quickly copy paste that. Let me. Okay. Now I'm failing to even copy paste something. Wow. I guess this multitasking isn't going is going a bit pear shaped. If you had asked me this question, Moise, so I think the original sentence was, if you had asked me these questions a couple of months ago, Moise has lost the plot, or I think Moise has lost the plot. If you lose the plot, that means that you no longer know what you are doing. Yeah. So imagine, I think this might come from a theater or something. Imagine an actor is playing his or her role in a theater, let's say the Globe. It's a Shakespearean play, Hamlet, and they forget their line or they forget the plot. I'm just guessing. This could be the origin of the idiom. You forget the plot. You no longer know what you're doing, right? What's happening? Where's the story? What am I supposed to say? Where's the story? So in this case, Moise has lost the plot, meaning like he has no idea. He's just no idea what he's doing. But basically, now Ben thinks now Ben thinks that Moise knows what he's doing now. He didn't think so a few months ago. Okay, hopefully it makes sense. Okay, David Gold was one of the West Ham United owners, and he unfortunately passed away a few months ago. So to pass away means to die. So it's a more formal way to say it. Sort of sounds slightly more polite than saying to die, which is a bit too strong. You just say someone passed away. Yeah, it's very very like respectful way of saying it. Okay. Okay, let's do this one. Uh, Ben said that he thinks that we were talking about David De Gea, the United goalkeeper, and he said, I think he's past his peak. So if you passed your peak, that means that your best years are behind you. That basically, you're progressing as a player. You're going up, 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 and then at some point you're at your peak, meaning you're at your best. You're playing your best football, and once it's usually comes comes down to age. Let's be honest. Like we could talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. Once you get past that peak, it can only go down. Yeah. So yeah. So Ben thinks that the hair is past his peak. His best years are behind him. Okay, and then this is really funny. It's a slang word actually. It's a verb, and we were talking about Ben's sort of performance in the fantasy Premier League, and I was like kind of joking about his position. He's in the third place. He's doing really well, but I said it looks like you're going to finish third, Ben, but you could still bottle it like Arsenal did. So if you bottle something, it sort of means it means when you're in a good position and then you fail. You don't live up to that situation. You don't live up to the expectation. So it's the same that happened to Arsenal. Remember, they had a lot of points. They had a lot of points over Manchester City at some point, right? Like was it like 9.7 point cushion or something? But then they started uh, collecting those draws, right, against Liverpool, West Ham United. There was one more, I believe, and Southampton as well. Yeah. So that was the time they bottled it. It just all went terribly wrong. So if you bottle it, you just sort of fail. But usually, it's you fail when you are in a good position. Yeah, when you're expected to see it through. Okay, I guess that's where we will leave it. Hopefully, you enjoyed this last bit, this language explanation. Had a little hiccup there. I apologize for that. The word indignant. I think I will remember it now. I say, why did I think it was indignated? Hmm. Indignant. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time watching, indeed. And if you are already subscribed, then if you want to help this channel, if you enjoy the content that I produce for you, then why don't you give it a like? And if you really like what I do as a teacher and you think that you could benefit from it yourself, then the best thing you could do is read the description of this video down below, and you will find the Achievers Chamber there, which is the Discord group that I have for high-level English learners, upper intermediate, advanced, proficient, so B2, C1, C2. If you want, you could join this group. Just read the description. There's a link which will take you to a Google document with more details where you can learn more about it. But I think I've said enough. Thank you very much for watching, and I think we will probably do one more of these football shows this season. I think it will be the very last one, just to sort of sum up or summarize the season and talk about it as a whole. Yeah, I think as you know, guys, I love talking about football, so I think we have to do one more at least, right, this season. Anyway, you guys take care, have fun, keep watching football, keep enjoying the Premier League, and even if you don't like the Premier League, thank you for watching anyway. See you. Bye.